Hello and welcome to the third and final part of this no return tutorial, and this video is going to be all about the bosses. After 5 rounds of encounters, you end with a boss. Let's go in here, and these are the bosses. There's 6 of them. We'll go in order, I don't know, we'll start at the top. The arcade bloater. So in the campaign, LE Day 3, you fight a bloater. It's very similar to that fight. The bloater's a little bit stronger, and a lot more enemies are scripted to spawn in. I think it's a clicker, maybe 3 runners, and a shambler. Maybe 4 runners. Not quite sure, I never count. But, yeah, there's that one. Then there's Theater Infestation, which is the theater where Ellie and Abby fight each other. But it's full of infected. To start, there's a clicker, a shambler, a stalker, and then the stalker half of the Rat King. And as you're dealing more damage, yeah, this goes for the bloater too. As you're dealing more damage, more enemies will spawn in. I think it's like 3 clickers and a couple runners and some more stalkers. And that's as you're gradually decreasing its health. This thing has a lot of health, but it's doable. Rattler Captain. This one is definitely the worst one. It's in Santa Barbara. The one right before the area right before the round building where the music is playing on the jukebox in the campaign. There's one Rattler with a shotgun that has a lot more health than everyone else, and just a bunch of Rattlers, like 3 dogs. It's brutal. The strategy is you end up taking cover upstairs where this boss is, and you kill the boss immediately. We'll show some examples, but yeah, this one is definitely the worst. Garage Bloater, this one is very difficult, but this one can actually result in the most points if you do it correctly. So you have a bloater that's, for some reason, is a lot more powerful than the arcade bloater. And this bloater isn't in the campaign. It's in the courthouse parking garage at the bottom of the elevator that you slide down. Normally there's an infected fight in there, but there wasn't a bloater. And there's, on top of the fact that the bloater is stronger, the area starts with 2 shamblers, and then as you consistently deal damage to the bloater, he will, more and more and more enemies will spawn in. I don't know how many exactly, maybe 14 or 15 extra enemies will spawn in over the duration of the fight. And the bloater will also act differently. He has like 3 phases of the fight based on his health bar. The first phase, he just slowly walks towards you and nothing more. And he'll punch you if he gets close. The second phase, he pretty much only starts throwing his acid at you, whatever it is. And then the third phase, he pretty much only, he runs towards you. He'll do his, bull charge thing, but when you're close enough to him, he will, run towards you. So yeah, it's basically the first phase, but a lot faster, and he'll do his bull charge towards you. And a lot of the times it breaks because there's a lot of vehicles and beams in the way, but yeah. But because there's so many enemies, this encounter can result in the most points. Seraphite Elite, this one isn't bad. It's a bunch of Seraphites in remember the E3 demo of the forest encounter, and it ends in that makeup shop? It's pretty much that. Except there's a woman with an arrow that can fire explosive arrows and stun arrows, and then there's a big brute that has more health than a normal brute in the campaign. And yeah, they each have 2 health bars. The one with the arrow has very little health. The one with the brute, he has a little bit more, but yeah, and then there's just some Seraphites after that, maybe 7 or 8 Seraphites after that, I think. I don't count, but yeah. If you let it get out of control, it can be a little but it can be easily dealt with bombs. And then the final one, the Rat King. The Rat King It works very similarly to the campaign. The health, I believe, is pretty similar. Now, because it's just him and the Stalker, this one results in the lowest amount of points. What else to mention? Yeah, it works very similarly to the campaign. When his health gets to half, he'll split in half. The Stalker from the theater infestation runs around, occasionally getting you. He has his own health bar. Rat King has his own health bar. And yeah, then you just got to kill both of them. Okay, it's going to take a little while to get to the bosses to show you. I think for starters, we'll start with the Rat King. Alright, so here we are with the Rat King boss. Now, the thing you got to know about the Rat King is you got to watch out for his charge. He will only do that charge when there's nothing obstructing him. So if you have a gurney in your way, or like a beam or a wall or something that's in his way, he won't do that. He only registers to do this crazy bolt charge if there's a perfectly clear path to you. So try and avoid that from happening. Anyway, this is with the Rat King, but also with a majority of the other bosses. The one exception being the Rattlers. You can do every boss without firing a gun. And the reason you want to try for that is because you get 50 points. For someone like the Rat King, you know, in terms of, you know, how many different ways you can get like a stun or a headshot or a multi-kill or something. The Rat King, you have the Rat King's death, which you can't get any points off of. Then you got the Stalker part. You can get a stun and melee on him. That's about it. So sometimes what you want to try is doing the boss without any guns being used. And it's more doable than you might think. Now, that being said, sometimes you're put in a position where you're not as prepared as you would like to be, or just something else. In this case, I'm playing as Jesse, and he is about as prepared as you can possibly be. He's full on crafting ingredients. And this also goes for a majority of bosses. You want, like, a pipe has the most melee, has the most hits in any melee, with 6, I believe. And we're going to upgrade one. And right here, Jesse personally is able to craft 3 pipe bombs at a time, and we have 3 trap mines. Trap mines and pipe bombs require 2 of the same crafting ingredients, and pipe bombs you craft 3 at a time. For other characters, it's 2 at a time. Basically, what I'm saying is, for almost every boss except the Rattlers, try your hardest. Again, if you're low on bombs or crafting ingredients, you got to use guns. Okay, that much is certain. But if you're in a position like I'm in right now where you're absolutely stacked, try your hardest to do the boss, any boss, this doesn't just go for the Rat King, without using guns. It is worth it with regards to points. And if you've exhausted every bomb, every crafting ingredient, and you know there's no way you're going to get the job done, then use guns. Use guns as a last-ditch resort. I wouldn't start with them just on the off chance you are capable of not using weapons. Because it's worth it, unless you're going for all headshots, but I wouldn't recommend that. So I'm going to try my best with the Rat King, and I'm going to try and not use guns. And this also, I feel like this would work better for an Ellie character, believe it or not. Jesse's the exception, he's the GOAT, he's awesome. But as an Ellie character, let's say it's Ellie. They all have access to trap mines, and they all have access to Molotovs. If you have 3 Molotovs and 3 trap mines, you can be put in a position, if your crafting ingredients are in good shape, to craft 3 more of each. So for the Rat King, you could have 6 Molotovs and 6 trap mines. That should be enough to get him. Now, the reason you want an upgraded melee weapon is because it can take down the Stalker. So for here, you want to use all the bombs you can on the Stalker. On the Rat King. And then save any brick or bottle you have and any remaining bombs or the upgraded pipe for the Stalker. So I may fail miserably, but let's just see what we got. I'm going to try and do this without guns. Now, just be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you can get away quickly. And and other stuff. I'm going to start out with my trap mines being used. I'm going to bait him over here now. There he goes. Oh shit, what the... That's not what I tried to do. Okay, well that one's... Alright, he's charging. Now he should break through this wall, but if he doesn't, get ready to leap over the bed. Here he goes. I'm gonna go over and get my mine. I'm also going to craft. Okay. So here comes the stalker. I'm gonna lay a mine down and have him come here. Boom. Just keep using them, keep using them. That was close. Now I'm gonna run away. Grab some more. We should have more than enough here. Boom. And we had more to spare. Now then, I'm going to use a bottle on him. Again, I recommend taking him out before you deal with him. The stalker isn't as insistent to pursue as you might think. Oh! God damn! Okay, I had no idea that was an insta-kill. I had no idea. That's definitely what you want to do there. Okay, I'll say it right now. 580 is the most points you can possibly get on the Rat King. That was a perfect fight. I got a higher score there than I sometimes do on other things. On other bosses. The upgraded pipe has like 6 hits in it. It's crazy. So, yeah, that was about as perfect as you could have done. So that's the Rat King. Now, what happens if you run out of... That was a good example for everything, but what happens if you run out of bombs? Just use your guns. It's not the end of the world. You lose out on those 50 points. But, yeah. You see what I mean? That's kind of what I mean. Start with bombs, and then in a last-ditch effort, you tried. You tried to get those 50 points. You realize early on it's not going to work out. Use your guns. And that is one thing the game will replenish. There are some like, I don't know, little bins or something that will replenish some ammo if you run around long enough. And, yeah. Say I wasn't good on crafting ingredients, and those last 2 bombs I threw at the Rat King, I just wasn't able to reacquire them. Just shoot them up. No problem. And I personally use my trap mines in the beginning, but if you're in a position where you're vulnerable and you notice the Rat King is about to charge, the trap mine will stop him in his tracks, where if you threw a pipe bomb, it would hit him, and then he would just run right past it, you know? So trap mines are good to stop the Rat King right in his tracks, and then load him up with pipe bombs afterwards. And again, as an LE character, you would have 6 Molotovs and 6 trap mines if you had the time to craft them, which I think you would if you run away long enough. And, yeah. When you get into that back corner... Here, hold on one second. When you get into the back corner, like you're going down that hallway, and you end up in this corner right here, he's supposed to break through here, But if he doesn't, and he breaks through right here, what you'll have to do is leap over the bed, because then you're trapped. You would have to leap over this table right here and then go around. But you have to make sure he has sprint speed. If he doesn't, and he has his tired sprint, he'll leap over it slowly, and you'll get touched by him, which is enough to kill you. But if you have the sprint speed, he'll do a much faster leap, and you can run away. I've had that happen plenty of times. It's an important detail to mention. So yeah, that's about all I can mention for the Rat King. As with most bosses, except for the Rattlers, try to take him out only with bombs, because the 50 points is totally worth it. And then use guns as a last-ditch effort. Okay. That's it for the Rat King. Let's move on to the next boss. Alright, next boss up is going to be the Arcade Bloater. Ignore the fact that we have a buddy. I didn't plan on that. Sorry. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be like he's not even there. So what we're gonna do, just like Rat King, we're gonna try, and it's a lot easier on the Arcade Bloater to not use guns. Also, I guess I should mention that now. Every now and then you're given a buddy for the boss. It's not the end of the world if you get it. You just don't get 20 points. So what we're going to do here, again, we're playing as Jesse, so we're stacked, but you can do this with any other character as well. It helps. This is a big reason throughout the run we don't craft our bombs. It's mainly for the boss. You want full crafting ingredients and full bombs when you get to the boss. And also, again, what really, really helps is an upgraded melee weapon. Upgraded pipe for this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay down a trap mine, and then I'm going to chuck 3 bombs at it. Half of his health will be gone. I'm going to craft another set of 3, and then chuck 4 at him. It should be 1 trap mine and 7 pipe bombs to do him in. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Now, another thing you can do is 2 trap mines, and then I think 6 will be enough to do it. But it can be a little bit difficult, because as we damage him, more infected are going to spawn in. But you want to deal with the bloater before you take out the infected. That's my advice. All of this, by the way, is just advice, okay? You got a way of doing it yourself that works for you, by all means, go for it. This is the way I like to do it. Again, just pretend Tommy's not here. One, 2, 3, craft. He's down. There's that. Now we're gonna take out some infected. You know what, Tommy? You get him. I think you get the idea, right? And there are a bunch of bricks and bottles over here, as long as they don't blow up. Now right here, you can use a pipe bomb on him, or you can do this with a bottle.
Put it down.
So yeah, the point being, there are a lot of bricks and bottles around here. Okay, if Tommy didn't kill that runner, I would have bricked him, swung, and then I would have gone for another brick or bottle for that clicker, and then that would have been a 605. That would have been a 610 if Tommy didn't kill that one and Tommy wasn't there. So, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite bosses to do because it's relatively easy if you're prepared. And, yeah. Again, something else you can do there is 2 trap mines at the start, and then pipe bombs without having to craft any. What else to mention? Yeah, when it comes to the Shambler, you don't just want to throw a bottle. It might work with an upgraded melee weapon, but you don't want to just throw a bottle and then swing. What you want to do is... hold on. I can actually show you real quick. What you want to do is throw it and then start mashing swing right away. So before I was moving forward, I threw it and then mashed swing. It's how we get those really quick kills you see sometimes. So I don't just throw, wait for it to hit, and then swing. I'm moving towards him slowly, throw, and then mash. You're able to get that very quick kill, and that applies to even a non-upgraded melee weapon. Upgraded, you probably don't have to do that, but trust me, for Shambler kills and really bottle melee kills for everyone, you just want to do that. But yeah, that's it. Again, there's probably different ways of doing that that can get you maybe a little bit of a higher score, but yeah. Basically, prioritize not using guns and try for stun melee kills on as many enemies as you can. So yeah, that's it for the arcade bloater. Let's move on to another boss. All right, next up we're going to do the theater infestation fight. Now this one, I actually lied earlier. This one, it's perfectly okay to use guns because there are quite a few enemies. And the Stalker in this one is pretty beefy. I feel like he's easier to defeat than the Rat King one. It might just be me. But, yeah. And in this one especially, again, you want an upgraded melee weapon. Very important for this one. And, okay. So what happens here is, I mentioned it earlier, but... Oh yeah, that's something else I wanted to mention. Going back to the arcade bloater. Bloater, it applies to the garage bloater and the arcade bloater. You can actually melee him when he's down to very little health, but it's something I don't recommend because it's only worth 5 points. You know, if you kill him with a bomb, that's you don't get any points for that, but he is out of your way. If you happen to melee him, it's 5 points. So that's up to you. Upgraded melee weapon should do the trick if he's down to just a little bit of health, but risk reward, that's up to you. Anyway, theater infestation. What's going to happen is there's going to be a clicker, a shambler, a stalker, and the Rat King stalker, as I'll call him, walking around the theater. What I try and do is take out the clicker and the shambler right away. And then the Rat King stalker will be right on you, and that's when I start chucking bombs at him. And then I use my upgraded melee weapon to take care of him. And then I use my guns on like the stalker and the other infected that come in. I have a video to show you. Today, I did the daily run as Tommy with theater infestation, and it was one of the cleanest I ever did. So I'll show you that. But first, let's try and do the theater fight perfectly as Jesse. So I basically try and go loud right away. Also, I should mention, these are tight corridors. I actually don't recommend using trap mines. So I get him. Okay, whatever. Here he is. Just back up, keep chucking. I think that's enough. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Now I'm going to back up over here, funnel them. I'm just going for headshots. It's whatever. Just remember that one's there.
Get the hell back!
See that? That one was quite good. That's how it went very similarly to my Tommy one. For me, that's good enough. What I could have done was probably gotten more stun hits on the stalkers, but that was very clean. And you noticed, I had to use very few bombs, but the MVP of that one was the upgraded melee weapon. Could you imagine if I didn't have that? I would probably have to use the remainder of my bombs or the shotgun that I had. I'd have to use a lot more, but the upgraded melee weapon is... I cannot exaggerate enough just how important they are. So yeah, something that could have gone better were... I could have leg shot some of the stalkers that were coming towards me for some extra points. But it's hectic, you know. Okay, regardless, I want to show you, because I know I am doing all this as the overpowered Jesse, but I want to show you, you can do this even without Jesse. So, hold on a sec. All right, here we go, I found it. So this was earlier today. It was the daily run as Tommy Theater Infestation. It went very similarly, but I just want to show you, you can do all this with a different character as well. So I go for them right away. Upgraded melee weapon. There's a stalker running around here somewhere. There he is. And then just take out the ones close to the door. There we go. So it doesn't... Here's the thing. It doesn't always go that cleanly. It doesn't always go that cleanly. But, yeah. Theater Infestation isn't one of those bosses where you want to try and do bombs only. In my opinion, it's not necessary because of how many enemies there are. And because of how tight the spaces are and everything. The 50 points you would get from not using a gun, you can make up with for stuns, melee kills, and headshots. Hold on, just for those. Because you would otherwise just be using bombs because you can't... And then you... Because of the Stalker Rat King guy, you can't keep your upgraded pipe for very long. And... Again, I don't think it would work because the bomb kills would basically be... Because I imagine you do actually have enough crafting materials to go without using a gun. But basically, we got stuns, melee kills, and headshots. Or we got stuns and headshots, and that resulted in 60 points. So basically, the scores you can get from the guns because of the quantity of enemies there and how tight the spaces are, it's worth it versus trying to go bombs only, melee only. So, yeah, and the Stalker is difficult to take down. He has a lot of health. It almost feels like he has a similar amount of health to the Arcade Bloater. I'm not saying he does, but like without the melee weapon, taking the melee weapon away, the explosives don't drain his health as much as you might think. So I really think how I performed it in the video and right here is the way you should go. What you don't want to do is just get lost in there, because then it just gets hectic. But yeah. That it worked out in a very similar way both of those times. So that's how you do it. Okay, let's go on to the next boss. All right. Next up is the last infected encounter, the Garage Bloater. Now, I mentioned this one, you could argue is one of the toughest, but it's also the one, if you're going for high scores, you want as the last one, because it allows you the highest point potential of any other boss. And the main reason is, even though there's a ton of enemies, those of you that have done this before, there's a ton of enemies, we're going to go for no guns being used. And the reason we are able to do that is because there are probably about 24 bricks or bottles around the entire area. Now, it can get hectic, and it's hard to do in under 3 minutes and 4 seconds, but the 50 extra points for not using a gun is worth it. And also, every other enemy we kill is going to be with a brick and a melee stun. That's how it's going to be done. And if you want to go a step further, there's a giant axe in the middle of the area. There's a bunch of melee weapons and bricks and bottles in the area, which is the only reason we intentionally try and not use any guns. But close to the end of the fight, what you want to do is pick up the big axe, craft an upgrade for it, pipe bomb the bloater or bomb the bloater in some way, shape, or form when he's in the last phase, and then swing the axe at him. It takes him down. This doesn't apply with melee weapons or even upgraded melee weapons of other kinds. Specifically, it's the big axe. It does a lot of damage. But you don't want to just run up to him and start doing that. You want him to be stunned a little bit before you start, like pipe bombing him once and then going in. Now, this applies to a lot of the other fights as well, but once you've delivered some damage, more and more enemies are going to spawn in. Like in the theater fight, like in the arcade, but it's especially magnified here. There are so many infected that spawn in. So how we are going to be able to brick or bottle and melee the enemies that come in, we are going to damage the bloater intermittently. So basically what we're going to do is throw one pipe bomb at him, deal with the enemies that come in, and then injure him again. So basically, damage bloater, deal with the enemies. Damage bloater, deal with the enemies. Damage bloater, deal with the enemies. And try just and make sure the bloater doesn't get you. You don't want to injure the bloater all at once, because then you are literally going to get about a dozen enemies in there all at once. And the points you can get for the stuns and melee kills are worth it versus going for multi-kills and headshots. You got to trust me on this one. And again, the only reason this is all possible is because of the quantity of bricks and bottles and melee weapons throughout the area. Now, starting in this area, we're going to try, even though I'm a professional making a tutorial here, there is something you can do on this map, or this boss specifically, that you can't really do in any of the others, I think, and that is not getting spotted. If you lay down a trap mine right away, and then inch your way backwards, and the bloater runs into it, you can start moving right away, and sometimes you won't get spotted for the entirety of the encounter. It's obviously a bug. It sometimes happens in capture as well. Something with bombs. I don't know. But yeah, we try for that as well, and that's another 50 points. But yeah, I think it's because the explosive triggered the encounter and not you, and then even though there are enemies chasing you and stuff, the encounter never gets lifted, so you basically don't give it a chance to not get alerted. It's weird, but that's something we do right off the bat. So, and what makes the beginning of this difficult, and something I might screw up here, is there are two shamblers around the bloater to start. So I'm going to take them out either with a bottle and a swing like I showed you before, or with a pipe bomb and a swing. And again, personally, as Jesse, we have a lot more. And again, even as an Ellie character, you'll have 6 Molotovs and 6 trap mines if you have the time to craft, which you should. Again, there are going to be times when it's just you and the bloater in the big area, so you'll have some downtime. Again, doing this strategy, it's difficult to do this in under 3 minutes and 5 seconds, but I think the points you get from this are totally worth it. An absolutely perfect fight can get you 750 points. Like you saw the Rat King, the highest we can get is 580. We got the theater fight, there's potential for a little over 600, but nothing else can get you even like 650 or 700. This one can get you 750 if it's like TAS perfect. I'm going to try my best here. And because I mentioned the axe thing, it's important if you get this boss to have as many upgrade melee weapon things as you can possibly have. I have a shiv and I have 2 upgrades available. I'm going to wait to upgrade this melee weapon. I mean, all right, I'll do it now. If you have 2 available, I would do the first one right away and then save the next one for the axe to get the bloater. But if you only have 1, I would recommend starting with just a normal melee weapon. But that's, again, that's down to personal preference. All right, here we go. I'm going to try my best because this is difficult to do. So first thing, Lay down a trap mine. If you need a brick, it's right there. Now I'm going for the shambler. Two dead shamblers. Now I'm gonna bait him some more. We're clean, we're by ourselves. Now here comes some more enemies. Now just get the bricks and bottles and stay away from the bloater. Stay away from the bloater. Back it up, back it up. He's moving slowly. Alright, that's it for that. Get him there. Here comes some more. Now, I think I mentioned this before. The bloater in the first phase moves very, very slowly. All he does is walk towards you. Second phase, he's going to start throwing things at you. Third phase, he just constantly sprints at you. But this is what we're doing. Damage the bloater, deal with the enemies that come in. I recommend trap mines just to get them out of the way first. Because that can be scary, leaving them down and not remembering where they are. Melee weapon, brick. Melee weapon. Okay, here we go. Here comes some more. Okay, so now we're in the next phase, and he's throwing stuff. I don't hear anyone spawning in, so I'm just gonna... Alright, here comes some more. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown that one. I'll use this time to craft. I'm gonna save that upgraded melee weapon for later. Right here, he's throwing stuff at me. There's some more over here. Try and avoid the acid. That stuff lingers. Here's a stalker. Alright, bottle. Watch it, he might throw. He did, he got the throw off. I'm gonna wait to see if there are any more coming in. Yes, they are. I don't have a melee weapon. Here we go. Look for bricks and bottles. They're around. They are around. Where's the last one? There he is. Come on, pal. Alright, I'm gonna pick up the axe. Here we go. Alright, ready for this? Dead. See that? Now just get some more bricks and bottles. There they are. One more, let him come to you so you don't hit the acid. And that is a perfect bloater. See that? I didn't need the upgraded pipe in the beginning. I did need a melee weapon, but not an upgraded one. What score was that? Alright, I lost 6 points from that. Okay. Okay, so I was cut short 6 points for it taking too long. I told you it would. And I didn't get the not alerted thing. Trying to see. Apparently there was one... Oh, I didn't stun the bloater. I didn't stun the bloater. But I count 14 enemies that there are to kill there. A lot of enemies. The bloater, 2 shamblers, and then a bunch of clickers, runners, and stalkers. There's a lot. But the amount of bricks, bottles, and melee weapons is what makes that possible. So again, it's naturally going to be a little bit slow. You also got to make sure you don't... what is it? You got to make sure you don't run through the acid that he throws. And again, I wasn't able to get the not spotted thing. It can happen. You got to trust me on that. So I didn't do something right there to trigger it. But think about this. This could have been, let's say, 6 points better, plus 50. This could have been 755 points. It could have been. If you bottle the bloater, that does not count as a stun. If you're playing as one of the Ellie characters and you stun bomb them, that probably will count. But, yeah. And I only had to upgrade or craft a thing of pipe bombs once. So that was 3 trap mines, 6, 7, or 8 pipe bombs. I didn't count how many. And then the upgraded axe at the end just really did some damage there. And you are able to dodge his punches, but sometimes he can throw punches very quickly. So yeah, the only thing that could have been improved there, that really was good. You see the total score. You can't get a score that high on any other boss, so at least I showed that off. I could have been 6 points better on speed, and I could have gotten the not alerted thing. And something that even I still need to figure out are the intervals of damage dealt that spawn in new enemies. They spawn in a lot on the first phase, but in the second phase, I was like holding up, just chucking bombs at him, waiting to hear some infected, because you don't want like 4 running around while the bloater's chucking his acid at you. You don't want that. So deliver the damage in small intervals, and when you don't hear anything after a while, just chuck some more. And then stun him with a pipe bomb or a Molotov or a stun bomb as an Ellie character, and then use the upgraded axe on him. If you only have one upgrade, if you only have one melee upgrade available, hold off for the axe. You got to trust me, because I did get 5 points for the melee kill. And yeah, again, I'm repeating myself, but I can only do this once. I didn't have to go in there with an upgraded melee weapon, but a melee weapon definitely helps because of the shamblers. The bottle kill, or the bottle and then the melee kill certainly help. And again, maybe you can find this information out from somebody else. There is a way to consistently, I don't know. There is a way to get it so you're not spotted for the encounter. I'm just quite not sure how just yet. But it does involve a trap mine at the beginning. Okay, maybe I started sprinting too early, or I needed another bomb or something. But yeah, that's how you do that one. That was a pretty good showing there. $6.99. Even that, $6.99. You can't get that on any other boss. You just can't. That's why we prefer it. Okay, that's it for the infected. Let's go to the 2 human encounters. We'll start with the Seraphite Elite. All right, next up is the Seraphite Elite. This is in the strip mall. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a big brute with a health bar and a woman with a bow with explosive arrows and stun arrows with a health bar as well. So the strat is, again, we have our melee weapon, which I prefer having upgraded before we start, just in case anything weird happens. This is one of these encounters we're going to try and do without a gun. Because, you know, Seraphites have weapons, and if you aim at them, there's a chance they're going to hit you before you can hit them. So, this is one you're going to want to try and use bombs on them. When you get down to a few, that's when you can go for brick stuns and melee kills and stuff like that. But 50 points for not using a gun against enemies with guns is definitely preferable. You just don't want to aim at someone who's also aiming at you. Ungrounded, at least. It's a horrible experience. So what do we do about this one? Well, to be totally honest, I don't know if enemies spawn in when their health bars go down like the infected do. But I do know you want to take out the 2 bosses here before they reach the inside of the building. Before they reach the inside of the strip mall. Because then you have the area to yourself. You can trap mine the flanks and everything, and it's good. So what we're going to do, you start out inside like the makeup shop. What I like to do is lay down a trap mine right away. And then I back up a little bit, and then I chuck pipe bombs at one of the bosses. What can happen is you throw them at the brute, and then it can also get the one with the bow. But what I'm going to try and do... This is where it comes down to preference. I'll be totally honest. I'm not quite sure what you're supposed to do here. like there isn't as something as consistent as garage bloater, but all I know is immediately you lay down a trap mine, and then you crouch walk backwards, and then you're going to chuck a bomb at either the brute or the one with the arrow. I recommend killing the one with the arrow as early as possible, but yeah, that's my advice. I have a video ready to go to show you in case this one doesn't work, but yeah, let's try this. Just try and not let the bosses inside the room. You do that with bombs. And then you duck behind the counter when they're dead, trap mine the flanks, and then bomb them when you see them. The 50 points without using a gun is worth it here. So let's give this a try. The one with the arrow is a lot weaker.
Will be the last thing you see. God damn it. We're under fire. Maybe it came from back.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna trap mine the other side. Damn it. All right. She got my flank. It's all right. The brute's still alive, but it's just a brute. It's not a big deal. My trap mine's still active. I'm gonna go over here because I have a mine over there. And from this point forward, they are really avoiding that mine. It's kind of weird. But yeah, this is not a great display here. You know what I should have done? Here. There we go. Okay, it was the woman with the arrow that was still up. That was not very good, obviously. I'll show you a better one. I'll show you a better one in just a second. Here, hold on. All right, here we go. Okay, what happened there was, let's see what happened. I decided to go for the pipe bombs on the brute instead, on the arrow lady instead of the brute. Now, in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have done that because I don't know. Again, it's just kind of tough to line that up. The one with the now I'm thinking maybe I should have thrown 3 at her and then 3 at the brute. Maybe that's what I should have done instead. Yeah. Regardless, I have a video here of it being done perfectly, and you'll notice in this example, what do I do? I throw it at the brute, and then it happens to include the one with the arrow. So here we go. Same thing, but then I decide to throw it at him. And you see it's also getting her. But that's not guaranteed to happen. That's the thing. Well, that's a good strat. And then you use this time to... Have I used a gun yet? No. Craft some more bombs. There's the trap mine I placed. She'll run into that one. From this point forward, you can either choose to use more bombs or go for a brick. I'm gonna give it some time now. And that was that, and I ended up with a score of, hold on, 600. So that's what's possible on here. The difficult thing about that one is you don't always get them aligned in the... like, you chuck them at the big guy, and then the explosions also take out the one with the arrow. That doesn't always happen. So whether or not, regardless of that, whether or not you chuck the bombs at the one with the arrow or the brute, you lay a trap mine down, you waste all your bombs, you run behind the counter, craft some more bombs, and then lay a trap mine down on your flank, and then, yeah, just do your best. And you saw right there, the damage I took was mainly from trying my hardest to use melee on everybody. That's not really recommended for this one. You really are just going to want to... Again, I got 600 points. That's pretty good. But I didn't really get many of unique kills. You know? So, yeah, this one's a little bit messy. Again, the one thing I'm unsure of currently is when you're chucking pipe bombs, where should you chuck them and who should you chuck them at first? That is probably going to be preference. I don't know. But, yeah, maybe it would be better to chuck 3 bombs at the arrow lady, because you really do want her dead first. And then trap mine your flanks, and then, yeah. Sorry, that one wasn't shown off as good as it could have been. But it's tough. Again, the way it played out in the video that I showed you, it doesn't always play out that way. And, yeah, why don't we move on to the last one. Rattler Captain. Okay, last and certainly least, the Rattler boss, the resort farm. Now, this one, unless I've been out of the loop, there's one good way to do this, and it doesn't involve not using guns or only going for headshots. This one is just survive. Maybe we'll find something someday. But there's one Rattler enemy with armor and a shotgun. That's the one we're going to take out first. And then we're going to camp upstairs where she was and just try and headshot anybody that climbs up. And the dogs, there's like 2 or 3 different dogs, aren't able to get you. Now, I'm going to do this one especially with the controller cam, because there's something you have to do. There's something you have to do. It involves prone diving. So when you like dive, you're sprinting forward and then you hold circle and he would dive. Now when he's on the ground, you can just do this again and that again until he dives. But what you want to do is there's a way to dive so that you're like closer to the ground so they don't see you. So you dive and then you literally just do this. Sprint is held down. And you want to do that because you don't want to get alerted. So what we're going to do, we're going to prone in the grass at the starting area and then wait a little bit until we start going forward. Then we're going to pipe bomb the Rattler boss and swing at her, and that should be a kill. Now you can't get alerted before that, because then she'll just kill you when you climb up. So that's going to be the big test here. So, again, super important for bosses. Upgraded melee weapon. Very important you have that. If not, you can just pipe bomb them all. And then we're going to camp and headshot enemies as they climb up. If you want, you can trap mine the left side. There's 2 entrances to the second floor. The one that we do, and then there's one that's more in front of us. If you don't want to trap mine the left side, listen for them coming up. And then, yeah. And then you wait there until they stop coming up. You got to headshot the one that's standing on a crate to the right at some point eventually. And then you take out the dogs below. I use pipe bombs because they're always with a person, so you can get a multi-kill out of it. But yeah, this is one boss fight where you know, only getting headshots or not using guns goes out the window, and the beginning has to be done in a certain way to make everything happen. And you want constant reminders of where you are, because sometimes they lose sight of you. And we technically don't need any trap mines. We don't need a shotgun. We just need like a lot of bullets for this gun. That's what's going to help you. And some pipe bombs. Yeah. Here we go. The least favorite boss fight amongst the community. Now hold on. Now the reason you don't want to just go right away is because there's a dog there. If we move right away, the dog's gonna pick up our scent earlier.
Search the whole perimeter.
I'm gonna go now.
He's got something. What you smell, boy?
Wait for her to move. Here we go. Throw. And swing. Dead. I'm gonna trap mine the side. And now, stay in here. And headshot. Now we just wait. Again, trap mining that side is optional. And I should mention, if you end the encounter with the trap mine there and not, I didn't mention this at all during the tutorial. Pipe bombs and trap mines, if the pipe bomb does 0 damage on any enemy, it counts against your accuracy. And if you lay down a trap mine and it doesn't detonate when the encounter is over, it counts against your accuracy, if you can believe it. So, if you're getting close to the end, pick up the trap mine before you do anything else. I'll still keep it there. Oh, see, she climbed up to the left. Now, I could hear that in advance. So now I'm looking left and right, and I'm more just listening. And we just wait. Now again, you can't stun them. You can stun their legs, but again, there's a guy on a tall crate to the right, and he stays there. If you run out, you're going to get hit. And the dogs can't get you here. So again, it is tempting. It is tempting to go out and like stun melee kill them, but there's a guy up there, and there's also enemies right below us, and they can kill you. I will show you a funny clip later of that happening. And we probably won't be able to do this in under 3 minutes and 4 seconds, but it is what it is. I also don't know how many enemies there are to kill. Okay, I'm going to take out the guy up top. That was my fault. Should have been cleaner. But yes, that guy. He's not fun to deal with. There's still more enemies down there. I'm still just going to wait. They all have rifles and shotguns. Just be patient.
Don't let up!
I'm going to do one thing here, though.
Watch it! Watch it!
That got 2 of them.
Search this place.
Alright, they lost sight.
Your eyes open. There!
The dogs can't get you.
Get another angle! Done! Look at us! You're fucked now!
There's a big guy with an axe. I think that's the last one. No, there's another one with a dog. That was a multi-kill, so that was pretty good. I think there's just one more. Maybe? Got him. Alright, besides the missed shots on the guy on the crate up top and to the right, that was all pretty good. My trap mine got used. 551. I got shot once. So let's say my shots were better there. 8 plus 15. That could have been 3 multi-kills from the pipe bombs. What's 8 plus 15? 23 points. I could have been 23 points better, and I think that really is as good as I could have been. Again, that guy that I missed the pistol headshots on, that one right there is, that's the reason you can't just go out into the open and stun and melee the people that climb up. So yeah, once you take care of that guy standing on that tall crate there, you are able to, you're able to like go a little bit further out from that bathroom area. But you still don't want to go too far because there's still enemies around with one-hit kill weapons. So, yeah, I personally think that could have been 23 points better. Again, it naturally just takes a little longer, which would have brought me up to 574, which isn't bad, but the point total is a lot lower than the others. And again, with those prone dives, you don't want to do them too early because the dog will pick up your scent when he's close to that second floor balcony. You want to give them a little bit of time to move away from that area so he picks up your scent closer to where you started doing the prone dives. So that's why I do that. And then the woman below, you need to wait for her to move, otherwise she'll spot you. So, yeah, basically just start doing those prone dives towards the second level a little bit later. You do them right away, the dog will spot you. And if you get spotted before you climb up there, she pretty much insta-kills you. But that was a pretty good performance. Let me show you a funny clip of what happens if you peek out a little too far when you're up top there. All right, watch this. There you go. All right, watch this. So I'm doing the strat. As is, there's one enemy left. He's right below me. Watch this. I had full health. It's so dumb. So yeah. You gotta be careful. This is the one boss you want to be careful. And with regards to like even more points, let's add up the time the time penalty. 23 plus 16 is 39. 39 points is 590. I really do think that's as good as I could have done it. 590 is nothing compared to the other bosses that we had, except for the Rat King. The perfect Rat King is 580, and that's difficult to do. So I'd say points-wise, this is the second worst one. But, yeah. So yeah. That is all of the bosses. I'd say the one that is, at least to me, most confusing is the, believe it or not, the strip mall one. I didn't do a great job of showing that one off. But it's because I experienced that one the least, like, frequently. For some reason. I don't do that one as often as the other ones. It's just coincidental. Which boss you get is total RNG. Someone in chat said that if you immediately chuck a bomb at the big brute, it will get the arrow lady as well. So something to try, but I gave you a basic idea of what to try and stuff. So yeah, that's no return for you. The basics, the point system, the bosses. Yeah, maybe I'll make more videos on this, but those are the 3 I definitely wanted to make. And have fun. I'll admit this is not the most well-made mode ever, but holy crap if it isn't addicting as hell. It's so addicting. And yeah, Jesse's the best character by a lot. If you're going for high scores, definitely get used to him. And yeah, I know for some of these I was using Jesse, like I was maybe showing off things to do in bosses that you can't do with other bosses. But again, if you're going to take one thing from this video, start with bombs, try and get those 50 points for like 4 of the bosses. And if you just can't do it, bring out the guns. That's really what I recommend. And most important, make sure you have a melee weapon or an upgraded melee weapon for all of these bosses. It's so important. But yes, that is it for me. Hope you learned something, and I will see you guys. Bye.